Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. Mandy Stadtmiller here, host of the podcast News Whore. Perfect name. You love that name, right?
I love to be called a whore. I feel really self-conscious of it now after reading your book. It's like I hired this whore and I was doing it with a whore. And the great thing about whores is they do these whore things. And I was like, maybe I should reconsider my life, just a little bit.
Well, what about the life you've led? Do you feel that you're a different kind of person because of what you've seen? Do you wish you hadn't seen some of the sleaziness that you have seen in life? Do you think you'd be happier if you hadn't seen how people act?
I think I'd be happier if I were dumber. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, that's
I think most people think
everyone
that, right?
is. Oh,
yeah.
God. Yeah. I've said it before. I want my kids to be good looking and dumb.
Yeah, I mean, you're really happy.
And if I had to
have a lot of confidence.
If I had to pick one thing, I'd just say dumb. For Heather, more than good looking. I just want them to be dumb as rocks.
I mean, I'm trying to think of, well, I don't know. I mean, some of the things that I can think of is, this isn't really, like, I had an affair with a married guy who I had met on the job.
Right.
And when I was trying to decide if I should do it or not, I asked someone who was also in my industry, should I do this or not? And he was a married dude, and he was like the most stand-up perfect married guy. I mean, I know a lot of those, but I said, should I do this, And he said, well, and he paused, and I said, okay, well, you obviously cheat on your wife. Because I could just, tell,
Yeah.
And I remember that as being kind of like Santa Claus doesn't exist. Like, every man cheats.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No,
and now I'm just kind of okay with that.
Do you think that's true?
No, because I think some people have a martyr complex where they really get off on the fact that they're in a sexless, miserable marriage, and yet they're true. And they just pleasure themselves to the idea of how faithful and miserable they are.
So the people that aren't...
So you think people are either miserable or cheating?
Well, I'm saying the people that don't cheat, you're saying...
No, I don't know.
The people that don't cheat are even more miserable than the people that cheat.
I don't know. I just think that if you stop having sex with your husband, it just seems like you're kind of... I mean, I don't want to get in trouble with the world of women, but I feel like, have an affair, right? I mean,
listen.
I guess what if you're a quadriplegic and you have cancer and it's against your religion to have, I don't know. I need to look at all the areas of gray before I offend anyone.
The religion part is, if it's against your religion to have sex, those people are dangerous. If that's the reason you're not having sex, is the religion thing, I really think those people are powder kegs.
Do those people exist then?
Well, that's the thing. They say they exist, but I'm like you. Probably they don't. Secretly, they're cheating. But could they get away? That's a question I wanted to ask you. Like nowadays, if Barack Obama was banging the kind of broads that Kennedy was, could he get away with it? There's no way in hell.
I'm fascinated by the question of if Barack cheats. I'm fascinated. I always try.
I don't see any way he could.
I think that he could, but I don't think that he does.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Do you think he does?
No, I don't.
And I also think that he just knows that Michelle would legit slit his throat in his sleep.
It looks like she could beat him up.
Yeah. I mean, I think he is terrified of her. I mean, mazel tov to her.
Again, the stories about Kennedy, like how the hell he got away with that. But I guess maybe he didn't get away with it, and people just didn't say it.
No, I think that there was definitely, an agreement that, you just... Why waste people's time and intelligence by, writing about who someone is sleeping with?
Yeah.
And it's just as things have crept farther and farther over into the absurdity of I had I had lust in my heart, Jimmy Carter in the Playboy interview.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, that was a story that tanked him. Or getting attacked by a bunny. You know what I mean?
Well, all right. We got to take another break. Can you stick around for another segment? Yeah, stick around. The host of News Horse here, Mandy Stadtmiller. I will be on the show. I'm taping it tomorrow. I'm very excited.
Yay.
The Artie Lange Show. Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. Mandy Stadtmiller here, host of News Whore, the podcast. And you're on Bobby Kelly's network. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we're riotcast.com/newshorror. So we're one of his shows, and then he has the You Know What Dude podcast and Comedy Sellers, and then they've got, it's nice, it's good.
Does the Cellar have its own podcast? It does, right?
Yeah, and it's got Dan Natterman is kind of the permanent sidekick.
Dan's funny.
He's very funny.
So is Bobby. Yeah, but I was on Bobby's podcast once, and he never aired it because he thought he of all people thought I was being too mean to him.
Really?
It was before he was trying to have a kid, and I was busting his chops. I kept saying, "Do you really want to have a kid? I mean, do you make enough money to have a kid?" And he kept going, "What are you talking about? I'm a headliner." I'm like, I don't know.
You did Mark Maron's WTF recently, right?
Yes,
Has it aired yet?
I don't think so.
I thought your Adam Carolla interview, I laughed so hard throughout that.
Yeah.
I was laughing like a crazy person on the street. That's what made me finally subscribe to his podcast was your
really?
appearance. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You were so good.
The podcasts really are crazy. This is how long. Like, I did an hour and a half with Maron.
Yeah.
You're just sitting there and you don't realize what you're saying even. You know, and that combined with doing like Conan and Kimmel in between it,
right?
Where it's a 7-minute quick, you're in and you're out. You really do, especially for a comic talking to another comedian. You open up and you start like I told stories this book tour I've never told before that I'm afraid I might get in trouble for, like stuff I shied away from.
Well, that's what I liked about your book was that it read like you were telling tales at a school. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but I mean, I don't think you were betraying confidences, but it just didn't read like a slick manufactured. It seemed like you were telling a friend, this is what really happened.
Right,
you know,
facts. That's what we wanted it to be. But I told this one story about Farley on Tom Green's podcast. Chris Farley. I was in the last movie he was ever in, Dirty Work.
Yeah.
And he told me and Norm a story in our trailer, in his trailer, about how he found two good-looking homeless women on the Santa Monica Pier, and he said they were cute, you know, they were dirty, but they were cute. And I said, hey, you want to live in a 5-star hotel for a couple of weeks? And they're like, yeah. So he puts them at this 5-star hotel, and they're giving him oral sex for like 3 weeks.
Sure, yeah.
And he cleans them up, he gives them a shower and everything, and then at the end, they don't want to give him oral sex anymore. He goes, and then they don't want to do it anymore. And so we were like thinking he was going to say, so I said, all right, guys, I'm sorry, let me buy you like a card. Or, you know. And instead he goes, so I said, hit the bricks, bitch. He kicked him out.
It's like the Eddie Murphy bit from Raw where he talks about getting the like bush woman, you know, who speaks in clicking.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah. Only they could speak English.
Right.
They could speak, like we thought it was going to be some touching thing he did for them, and he just threw them back out on the street. Could you imagine them waking up going, do we want to keep doing this?
I wonder how that story would have turned out in the hands of Gary Marshall, you know? Because like Pretty Woman was supposed to be this gritty prostitute story. And then
I won't say the name of the hotel. It's in Santa Monica. It rhymes with Flutters. Really? I mean, could you imagine? Like, I think at the end he might have charged them for incidentals, though. That's the one. Very dark stories, but yeah, that's the thing about these podcasts. They lure you.
Yeah.
They lure you in.
Well, I have noticed though. I mean, I used to be really into WTF, and I still listen to it. But there was a time where I feel like now there are several that are kind of that caliber. You know?
Definitely. Yeah.
But if you listen to Jimmy Kimmel's when it first came out, there was a couple parts that clearly...
Jimmy was doing a podcast?
No. So Jimmy did WTF.
Oh, I'm sorry, when he was a guest on it.
And I mean, I don't want to... There was a portion that had made it to a news item on Gawker.
Okay.
And then that portion was excised.
Right, okay.
So I think that does happen.
Yeah,
where
sure.
it makes it in, everyone's really comfortable, and then it's like, can you please take this down?
Well, me and Maron started talking about, I mean, he's going to edit it, but me and Maron started talking about dealers, names of dealers that we both went to on the Lower East Side who had blow all the time in the mid-'90s. And he said, you ever go to such and such? And I said, I think so. You know, I mean, he could edit it and stuff, but yeah, it was that crazy to where, I don't know if the guy's still around. It's 20 years ago. Guys like that tend to disappear. Did you ever give someone a break? Did you ever know?
I thought you were going to say something else. It's like, no.
I think I know the answer to the other one. But no, did you ever give someone a break where you found out something?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Yeah, I mean, like, why? Just because you like the person, or?
I mean, it's why I'm not as successful. I'd be a lot more successful if I was a sadist sociopath. Yeah, all the most successful people are sociopaths.
Really?
Sure.
You know, it's funny. I tend to agree with you.
Well, yeah, because they believe their own BS.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's kind of like being dumb. It's like if you are aggressively stupid and a sociopath, you are going to be the hugest success.
That's all you need. No, you know, it's so funny you said. No, I mean, let me tell you something.
I admire it.
There's a reason idiots idiots move out to Los Angeles. Los Angeles is the only city where a complete idiot could become a multimillionaire, almost a billionaire, just because he met Tim Allen in 1981 and sold him coke or something, and then he gets points in Home Improvement.
Right.
It's just, you can't, like, if someone becomes a billionaire in Kansas City, they probably have some intelligence. In LA, there's a lot of smart people who make it too, don't get me wrong, but it's the only city where a complete idiot, like borderline retarded, could become, like, has a Bentley in a couple of months.
Right.
And I think that's why a lot of them go out there.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that it kind of embodies inside a human being the American dream that anyone can make it.
Sure.
And there's something very attractive about
point.
the aggressively
Absolutely,
stupid person making it.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm as smart as that there Kim Kardashian, you know?
And you are. And odds are you are smart.
I was thinking today how everyone is shooting a reality show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I meet a celebrity's hairdresser's psychic, and they're like, well, I have to tell you, I'm shooting a reality show. It's so true, though.
It is. It's really like,
Would you ever do one now?
I got offered one when I was a complete train wreck, and that's
Celebrity
that's
Rehab.
when they want you to be. Well, I got offered my own. A&E was ready to give me money at the Stern Show when I was a complete train wreck.
Yeah.
And I realized that I said, guys, you're not going to get what you want. They want.
And that shows that Dave Becky's a good guy. That wasn't that the story that he told you?
Becky said not to do it.
Yeah.
Becky said, he goes, Art, listen, the money is, at the time, he goes, 3 gigs in Atlantic City, you'll make what they're going to pay you for the season. So the money's not that great.
Right.
When they say it to you up front, he goes, we'll get you gigs in a couple of casinos, you get the money back. And you don't have to do that to yourself because it's they want the train wreck, and that's what you are right now, and you got to clean up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Becky, really gave me solid advice.
Is it hard for you to watch old footage of yourself even if you're hilarious, if you remember just that you were...
Yeah. It's really, well, first of all, it's hard for me to watch myself straight and killing, like what people think is great. I don't like watching myself at all. So you combine that with being loaded. Well, what a lot of these podcasts do is they show video of you.
Yeah.
They don't even tell you they're going to do it. Like, what happened at Good Day New York? I go there with Rosanna Scotto and the other guy, and they got footage of me the last day at Stern. Like throwing, stumbling all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, completely on heroin on a national radio show. And I'm like, guys, I don't know we're going to do this. But, what do I don't get mad at it. I gotta
It's
roll
like,
with the
this
punches.
is your life.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'd rather it be somebody else's life. Does it have to be my life? This is my life?
I mean, the thing is that you've experienced so many things.
Yeah.
If I could have experienced taking 2 crack whores off the street and putting them in schmutters for a couple of weeks and stumbling around Stern on hair, like that to me seems like a life well lived. I'm not saying people should do it,
No, right,
but
you're
it's
right.
like once you've done it,
It's interesting.
you know, exactly.
Right,
Never be boring.
Well, I'll tell you what they did was the last one I did one in Brooklyn, and they showed the Joe Buck thing.
Yeah.
But they just showed the first part of it where I was just killing before it became like, and I was like, I'm fine with that before it got like too crazy. But yeah, you're right. If you did it already, you might as well own it. Right?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
And that's what the book's about. But
I think the main thing is not, I think the most difficult thing about anyone who's really, really funny and has also achieved like pinnacle hilarity when they're loaded is that if you intrinsically think, oh God, what if that's where the magic comes from?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
know, that's
and
scary.
you seem like you know that it doesn't.
Right.
So.
No, I've learned that about myself. But it's like the thing you brought up at the Jack Black roast when we talked about when I was on
the prediction.
Yeah, when I was on Conan.
Did you do that? So was that the one that got you banned?
Yeah, that was the one that got me banned. Yeah, but and I'm destroying. The crowd is loving it, and I thought he was like
to me. I mean, I probably shouldn't. That to me makes me think he's so thin-skinned to have that reaction.
No, I mean, no, they were right because I
think people should be okay with being completely destroyed.
I was
if you're in show business, right?
Yeah, especially a comic, but I was really out of it. And I went on Conan in a blackout, and I basically told him not to take the Tonight Show. I said, I read in the TV Guide, you're going to get $40 million and you don't have to do the show. Yeah. And that's essentially was good advice.
Yeah, but what made them ban you for that? Was it the other stuff like behind the scenes that we don't?
Well,
it was hard to deal with.
It might have been. That's a good point. I was behind the scenes. I was stumbling around and I was out of my mind. But and I've been doing that show like for 15 years at that point. So I respected their decision. But again, we got into a fight in the New York Post, like it happened with Joe Buck.
Right.
Like we started trading quotes in the Post, which to me is hilarious.
I was trying to think of, because I know most of the TV reporters, and I was trying to think of. So there's Michael Shane, who's the editor, and then Don Kaplan, who Letterman used to always shout. Yeah, you know Don, right?
Yeah, I know Don really
Don
well.
is like a solid guy who's at the Daily News now. Yeah.
This was a guy who interviewed me like at a deli, almost freelance.
Was it Brian Nimitz? Nimitz?
I'm not sure, man.
Okay. Well, can I just keep naming names? Because I think that'll be really interesting for everyone.
Was it Ed Asner? Was it Scott Fitzgerald?
Just pull out the Post directory.
Was it Jimmy Breslin? Was it? Again, you're right. I agree with you. And again, I've embraced my life because I have to. Yeah.
And
I'm
well,
proud.
I mean, I got so much. I was laughing so hard at the 300-pound schizophrenic saying, "Look, it's you on TV, Jimmy Kimmel."
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
And you're like, we try and do a good show,
Eventually, there was a guy in a mental institution who thought I was Jimmy Kimmel, and I kept saying no, and he kept saying, yes, you are, and eventually I just said, yeah, I am. And for 2 days, I was Jimmy Kimmel to this guy, and he always had a copy of the Quran. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, he took me into his room and said, pray with me, Jimmy. And I said, okay. And I put my hand on the Quran, and he said something in Muslim. And then he said, I'll see you in heaven, Jimmy Kimmel. And I said, thank you. I'll see you there, buddy. And then I've apologized to Jimmy if you got any bad. Well, Mandy Stadtmiller, I can't wait. Tomorrow I'm taping your show. And I thank you for coming here.
Thank you so much.
And much more good luck and good fortune with everything. The great Mandy Stadtmiller, news whore. Check it out on Riotcast.
Riotcast.com, yep.
And thank you so much for coming. Come in anytime.
All right.
What we have, I have a commercial? Dollar Shave Club. Of course I have a Dollar Shave Club. It's a very successful show. I always misplace my live commercials. This is my favorite part, where I misplace the live commercial and the guys watch me try to find it.
I was listening to it before, and it made me want to buy Dollar Shave Club.
Don't you think?
If that's any double endorsement.
It seems like they could just repeat a lot of these, right? Don't they?
No. I mean, it really did make me wish I was a man.
You think there's something original
you
in
can
every...
still use
I could get it for my
Dollar Shave
dad.
Club.
Yeah, take one. No, you sure?
He would
For
love
yourself.
Or for yourself.
Oh, really? Isn't it a dude thing?
No, you can do it for
you
your
get
legs
razors
and stuff.
and this shave butter.
For a couple bucks
you can
a month.
use it for your legs.
Mandy, for a couple bucks a month, DollarShaveClub.com delivers amazing quality razors right to your door. Not only does it save you a ton of cash, it saves you from trudging to the drugstore for a pack of blades. Listen, for just a couple bucks a month, amazing quality razor blades are delivered right to your door. Everybody here, oh my God, everybody here is getting their Dollar Shave Club blades, and you should too. Dr. Carver's Easy Shave Butter and DollarShaveClub.com is fantastic. It's a genius idea. Don't waste time at the drugstore behind the lady paying in pennies. Join DollarShaveClub.com. Keep your stress level low and your bank account high. Shave time, shave money. DollarShaveClub.com. Mandy, thanks.
That's my favorite part is shave time, shave money, by the way.
It is a nice little play.
It's clear Larry David is on our writing staff. He's writing spots for us. The Artie Lange.
The Artie Lange Show. Weeknights on Audience. Only on DirecTV.